points for him, and and people would have just said, "Oh yeah, that's a crazy a-hole who's just as irrelevant as David Duke."
Well, let me give you my example. For instance, Nikki Haley, when she was governor after the mass killing in her state, she took the Confederate flag down off of the Capitol building in her state. Trump has promised, now that they've removed Confederate soldiers' names from army bases, he's promised that once he's president, he's going to put them back on there. That's the difference between Nikki Haley and someone like Trump in the eyes of somebody like Nick Fuentes. Trump is like, like for instance, some of the stuff that, maybe Nikki Haley or somebody like that would have spoke out against, Trump is kind of remaining silent on it. Like, I don't think Nick Fuentes would have went to Nikki Haley's home. I don't think she would have let him in. Now, Trump is claiming he didn't know who the guy is, which you got the Secret Service working at your behest. You got all of these, nobody's telling you who this dude is. They just let a stranger in your house, didn't tell you anything about, that doesn't make sense. You got access to Mar-a-Lago. You do have a large following. It might be a racist following. Talk about Nick Fuentes. But you do have a large... Nobody warned him who this dude is. They just let him in the house. That doesn't make any sense.
Nick Fuentes doesn't have as big a following as you think.
It's big enough that when he went in Trump's home, it made national news the next day. I mean, it's big enough. For the fact that nobody... You really believe that a former president like Trump, who potentially was running for president again at that time, you don't think anybody told him who this dude was? They just let him in the house with Kanye, total stranger. Nobody told him anything.
I think he was more interested in what Kanye had to say than anything else. I think that Kanye was the big ticket in.
That's fine, but who the hell are you? That's fine, but who the hell are you bringing in my house with you? Okay, you're on your way over. You got a guest with you. Who is that? You don't think he asked him at all?
I think that he kind of knew that Kanye and Fuentes were a package deal. So I think he kind of overlooked it, which I don't think he should have done. I think that was kind of a misfire on his side. I don't think everything Trump does is good. I just think that he's probably the best of the bad. I think that every politician and that we elect, we're trying to elect for like 80% of what they do we like maybe less.
Yeah, but Jeremy, you got Kanye West, whose whole career has been blown up because he's on Alex Jones talking about, Adolf did good things for Germany and shit like that.
Right.
He's on his way to your house with a guest. Like, dude, who the fuck you bringing over? Never came up. You don't think that ever came up?
Whoa.
Yeah, I see it, man.
Yep, you see it too? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, man. I don't... Probably because we dropped Nick's name. I wonder if that's why.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. All right, man. We'll pull it on next time, but it always happens. I guess we can't talk about St. Nicholas anymore. So
that's all right. Well, thank you so much regardless, Tim. You know I love you, brother. I'll see you around.
My sentiments exactly. Appreciate it. By the way, what we're talking about is the artificial intelligence, the AI of TikTok warned us. I guess I've brought up Nick's name too much. And it advised us that we're going to reduce the visibility of the stream. YouTube don't seem to do that as much. We're on YouTube, horizontal and vertical right now as well. A lot less of that from YouTube, but it is being done on TikTok. So I'll continue on with the program, though. We'll see if we can make it happen without having to reset it. Coach Briggs, good evening. Welcome to the program. Yeah, the idea that Trump just let Kanye, as controversial as Kanye was at that time, his whole marriage was failing. You just let him show up with a guest and you don't find out who that guest is. And you the president? You running for president again? That doesn't make any sense at all. Coach, good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. So what do you think? Texas now mandating children be taught directly from the Bible in schools.
I don't necessarily agree with it. It's kind of ironic that now all of a sudden we are allowed to be taught from the Bible when I'm not even going to say the time when we weren't even supposed to have a Bible.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But they didn't want us to know how to read and all of that, so being caught with a Bible could have meant your life back then.
And the other problem that I had with it is how much we talk about CRT, like you said, and we're all up in arms about CRT. how much are those teachers going to interpret the Bible in the way that they want to interpret and force that on your child? You know what I'm saying?
You make a good point, and that's the first thing came to my mind, is that we know in this country, we teach history kind of based on, as opposed to accurately, we base it on American exceptionalism. We're the best in, we don't really teach history accurately. We teach it from a standpoint of we're the best. And there is a lot of negative aspects historically orbiting around Christianity. It would not surprise me if they have a mandate that comes down as to how teachers are required to interpret those passages. Because, a lot of questions, women's equality, they talk about slavery, they talk about, there's a lot of things in the Bible, the LGBTQ community is in there. None of that's good for that community. So it would not surprise me if they have further mandates preventing teachers from using their own interpretation of the passages.
Yeah, and I hate the other thing that I kind of is I guess crazy to me, equating anything about the Bible. And I heard you say what Donald Trump and Christianity. You do know Donald Trump was married like a bunch of times.
Well, Donald Trump's on video saying I'm not a Christian.
Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to get across. People are beating the drum that he's a Christian and he's bringing back Christianity and he's doing this for us. No, he's not.
But I will say this in defense of Trump. Trump is to Christianity what maybe, some, white person that helped with the Underground Railroad or something was to black. You don't have to be one of us if you're looking out for us. And that's what Trump is. Trump, although he may not be a Christian himself, he has done a lot to benefit Christians. That's why the evangelicals love him. He's probably been more beneficial to the evangelicals and Christians than most Christians and evangelicals.
Well, I said that a long time ago. When I've gotten in several arguments with people about Trump and the fact that a lot of people want to call Trump a racist, and I absolutely do not believe that. Trump is an opportunist to me. He don't care who it is. He don't care what color you are. If you are beneficial to him, then you're all right.
Yeah. So in other words, I'm not a racist, but if I can fare well from racism, I'll go ahead and allow it.
I'll go ahead and stoke the flame.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, a lot of people say, well, it's going to be the end of the world. They're doing the reverse of what he did to get in there. Oh, man, it's the end of the world. We're done in, and it's 4 years, people. Chill out. 4 years. I don't think he's going to ruin it. I do believe he has a lot of power with the owning the House and the Senate right now. But guess what? In 2 years, it'll be the same thing. If it's not going well, they'll flip everything over again.
I agree with you.
I come from a family and a race. Well, I come from a family of that we're born survivors. You too, I'm sure. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. We're gonna get up. We're gonna do our job. We're gonna take care of our family. Even if we gotta eat beans and franks. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I agree with you to a point. The notion is that Trump is not going to end the world or end democracy or destroy the republic. We'll be all right in 4 years. We can try again. I think the issue with Trump, why he's getting so much attention, though, is he says things that people are required not to take literally. He has made several jokes about, being in power for longer than 4 years. What did he say? He told the Christians, if you vote for me this time, you'll never have to do it again. We got it fixed. So I get what you're saying. You shouldn't view Trump as the end of the world. But the point I'm trying to make is people are not developing that and pulling that out of their ass. They're basing it on stuff that he is saying. Most of the things that people fear about Trump, for the fear to be invalid, you have to assume that Trump was joking about that or that was taken out of context because he's saying some wild stuff.
Yeah, but let's hold on a minute. That's why I laugh with people, especially that one about him going past the 4 years stuff. Let's first of all, let's use a little bit of reality-based stuff. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Trump 87?
No, he's 80. He's 80. No, he's not even 80 yet. He's like 79, I think. He's not even 80.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not even 80 yet. No,
I thought Trump was older than that.
No, he's like 79, I think. 78, 79. Yeah, he's not even 80 yet.
So here's my thing. And I know some people will take this wrong, and I'll probably get killed for this. But what white man is going to let another white man be his king forever?
You do realize that's how England was founded, full of white men under a kingdom. I mean, most of the planet started that way with a bunch of white men letting white kings. I mean, that's how it started.
Yeah, but do you reckon that's gonna happen now when they run around talking about the Second Amendment? I'm gonna stand up against. Do you really think that that's gonna happen?
You know, people always say the Second Amendment will prevent tyranny and all this. I'll submit to you what happened to people like us. I mean, the Second Amendment was around throughout the entire Jim Crow era. It didn't stop blacks from being basically terrorized and living under tyranny. If there was a kingdom, as you're talking about, and you had enough Americans support it, I don't think it would be stopped. I think it absolutely could happen. You just need enough Americans to support it.
We're talking about something that's not realistic. We already split 50-50. The country is split 50-50.
You think it's that? I don't know if it's even 50-50. I think there may be more people on the right now than there is on the left. I don't think it's 50-50. Trump got the popular vote.
I mean, that's like them saying that. Okay, so that's like saying a legitimate argument would be, we're going to make black slaves again. Really? Come on.
No, I don't. Yeah, I'm not concerned. But I will say, I'm not concerned of blacks becoming slaves again and I'm crazy like that. But I will say, if you and I were talking 10 years ago, we would have probably said there's no chance of them using abortion laws from the 1800s either. But that has happened. There's no chance of them forcing kids in school to learn from the Bible. But that has happened. I'm not saying we're going back to slavery, but I am saying that you should realize there is more on the table than you might realize. I mean, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, but until it hits, I agree with you on everything. But until it hits the right person, you saw what happened when he went at John Deere about the tariffs and stuff. Let that happen and see what John Deere does. See what the CEO and owners of John Deere. Let it hit the right person. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just going to say this.
You may not be the right person.
I'm just going to say this. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said Trump could not do something, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be out spending money. I mean, you're talking about 90 some federal charges, and the feds have a 96% conviction rate, and he beat all of them. Who the hell would have thought that? So I don't want to ever fall into the category anymore of saying, well, he can't do that, or he can do anything. And there's a hell of a lot of Americans that would support him doing that. I've had MAGA tell me directly, maybe it wouldn't be bad if he was able to be in office for more than 4 years. A lot of folks favor that. I got plenty of viewers that come on, their profile picture is Trump wearing the crown. So I don't have the same security blanket that you do.
I got this. You may not have the same security blanket, but if you thought January 6th was something else, let him try to do that. Oh, you'll see it again, but it's going to be a different way.
All right. I got to move it on, Coach. Hopefully but that won't happen again now because he's on top and he won. So Trump and MAGA are pretty happy, so that's not likely to happen again. But I do appreciate you coming on, Coach. Thank you.
I enjoy talking to you, man.
My sentiments exactly. Anytime. All right, moving on with the program. JD Vance will be the new president soon. What are you saying? Trump ain't gonna make it? Somebody in the comments on Bless Up Kev. You think that JD Vance is gonna take it, but you don't think Trump's gonna do his 4 years? People say this is the last 4 years of Trump, but Roosevelt had 3 terms and they could totally amend the Second Amendment. I'm just going to say, hopefully, democracy, the republic continues as usual. But as I stated, the reason people are saying this about Trump is not pulled out of their ass. Trump is joking about this stuff. And let's assume it's a joke. Let's assume it's not true. But Trump has made several references to the notion that he'll do more than 4 more years. He has said it himself. So all of a sudden, you can't get angry when the people are accusing him of possibly doing something that he is constantly saying he's going to do. Everybody don't know what is a joke and what is serious. Let's just do it that way. It probably would be a lot less exciting if Trump did make so many references to this stuff, as opposed to blaming the folks for misinterpreting what he said. He probably shouldn't be saying that. How do you get in the box to talk, says the Miles Minute. All of the audio you hearing is coming from YouTube. There is no way to bring up live viewers on TikTok. I really wish I could, because that's where my MAGA folks are. I love speaking to my MAGA audience, but TikTok is same thing. We're across all platforms, the handsome liberal. We're on Rumble. If I can get some of you folks to follow that, I think I can bring folks live up there. We're on Instagram. I'm trying to get those platforms up, but handsome liberal across all platforms. TikTok and not YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, I am visually on YouTube, but I can't bring up callers to talk to them, and I wish I could. What the fuck backwards world, Tim, says Andy Joe. Fair enough. Kind of like Obama running thang gas. I don't know what that means. I pray Trump stays forever, says DJT 2024. You pray Trump stays in office forever. Well, we'll see if your prayers are answered. I wish you would pray that some of these kids don't lose their lives in schools, but then again, thoughts and prayers never work there. Let me go back to the box. Travelman. Good evening. Welcome to the program. See, shit is crazy, says King Mo. Things can be a bit problematic sometimes. Let me see if I can bring up my next guest. If not, I may have to move it on. Trump will make America healthy, safe, and affordable. You obviously been to a Trump rally. I've been to a couple. That is the closing statement. We'll make America safe again. We'll make America all. And then he said at the end, we'll make America great. You sound like you're straight out of the rally, Joseph Ellison. In regards to Trump making America safe and affordable, I think two of them is possible. Health and affordable. Safe, I don't know what you can do from a presidential standpoint about, lowering crime and things like that in inner cities. Now, the whole notion of Trump is he's going to return the rights to the states. Then how are you going to lower crime if you're giving the states, unless you interfere with what they're doing in Chicago, New York? So I don't know about how you can make America safe again at all. Now, healthy, we're supposed to believe RFK is going to do that. Before I go to my next caller, and I appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen, I'm going to have an interruption between this live and I'll start it up in another 20 minutes or so coming up soon, but I'm going to have to take it down for a minute. But RFK, I want to talk about him real quick before I go back to the box. Is that show enough from The Last Dragon as a profile? Oh my God, kiss my comment. Somebody got show enough in there. I do want to talk about RFK, because we know during Trump's first presidency, one of his biggest complaints is that I made a bunch of bad appointments, and that's why I couldn't get my agenda done. Appointed a lot of folks that were not loyal and things like that. A lot of you folks favor RFK because of his independent stance. He's going to blow up the system stance. I want to bring up the fact that RFK ran to be the Democratic president. When he didn't get his wishes met, he abandoned the Democratic Party and went to the other party. The point I'm trying to make is, if he's willing to do that to the Democrats, why do you think he's going to be so loyal to Trump? He has shown you that he will make a complete flip if he doesn't get his way. I'm questioning RFK whether he's a good pick or not. I love the fact that he's talking about getting bad ingredients out of foods and things like that. I don't like his stance on COVID and some other things, but there's some good to RFK. But he has shown you that he is capable of being a defector. You got Tulsi Gabbard as well. You're putting people on the administration that has shown you they can defect. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard ran for the Democratic president of the United States, and within a year, she's on Fox News trashing the Democratic Party. You think Mike Pence was bad? So I do want to point that out while you guys are celebrating Tulsi Gabbard and celebrating RFK, that they could be problems down the line. Elon Musk, Elon Musk is another one that might be problematic because he was, promoting the electric car and things like that, and he was considered to be a liberal for so long. Now he's in the upper echelons of the Trump administration, and he's not even an American. What happened to Obama being a Kenyan? What happened to Nimrod when we didn't want Nikki Haley? All of a sudden, the dude comes through with a bunch of money, and all of a sudden he qualifies now. He kissed the ring, threw around a little bit of money, and now he's on the in crowd. How the hell did that happen? That's all he had to do. Just start speaking favorably of Trump, hand him a little bit of money, and all is forgiven in the past. Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Elon Musk. I'm just letting you know, they might turn out to be fantastic, but keep your eyes on those three. I'm telling you, they've all shown the ability to defect. That was the main problem Trump claimed he had in his first administration, is people that were disloyal, rhinos, and operating for the other side. You got two in there that clearly wanted to lead the other side. Didn't like the outcome, so they defected to the Republican Party. I don't know if a lot of Republicans see that, but these are two defectors you got on your team, on your administration now. I see Double Lux says poor judgment. I'm just saying, they're celebrating these folks. Is that a Pasha?
A Pasha, yeah.
Okay, good evening, Pasha. So,
Good evening.
So what brought you on Christianity in schools? Do you favor that?
Well, so real quick, just to address something that you were just saying.
Sure.
I don't even think Trump is really Republican, and I think that's why people don't like him that are staunch Republicans. I would actually say that more people are moderates, but it's not popular to run as a moderate. Like, we know that historically, like, Trump was a Democrat the majority of his life. And I think that a lot of people that we're seeing, the reason why they're defectors or switching parties is because I really don't think that they're really part of either party, to be fair. I feel like a lot more people are like moderates or maybe even libertarians. But
I don't know. I got to say with RFK, if you listen to what RFK is promoting and things that he envisioned for America, he had no business ever running for a Democratic presidency to be. I mean, when you listen to what the Democrats are concerned with, and when you listen to what RFK, the platform he was running on, you guys don't belong together. You're running on vaccines and food and things like that. They're running on LGBT issues and you guys have no business pairing up. RFK, I don't see the Democrat in him at all. Now, the problem with RFK that I'm concerned with on how he made defect from the Trump administration is Trump tends to be, just like most Republicans, loyal to big business. That's where the money comes from. They're not going to like you determining what ingredients they can put in foods and things like that, costing them money, making them change their whole recipe at costing them millions of dollars. I don't think Trump is going to give full authorization to RFK to do that stuff. And RFK may be pissed about that.
No, I can see that. But the reason I did come up is I was looking at all the bills in Texas when you were talking about it.
Sure.
And like when I was reading through the actual bills, I'm not seeing, besides the 10 commandments being listed, I'm not seeing anything that specifically is saying Christianity. It's saying religion. And so that's what I was curious about, like what bill you were referring to, because I did try and look it up because I was like, wow, I haven't heard that they're forcing Christianity in schools. But what I did see was that they were trying to allot time for prayer and religious teachings, which to me would be anybody.
Wait, hold on. You really think a blood red state like, let's say for instance what you're saying is totally correct. You really think a blood red state like Texas is going to allot the same amount of time for, Muslims and all these other religions that some of them we don't even favor as they do Christianity? You don't believe Christianity is going to be treated as a superior religion at all?
No, but I'm saying I didn't see that. I guess what I'm asking is what bill, because the bill that I read didn't specify Christianity. It said that they were going to allot time for prayer and religion, but it didn't say specifically only Christianity. And I guess that's what I'm asking for you to clarify, is it didn't say, like, to me, that how I read the bill, and maybe I'm reading the wrong one, that would it be inclusive to teaching all religion, all prayer. It didn't specify just Christianity. So I guess I'm asking, it didn't come up or you didn't see my comment, but I was asking for clarification because I didn't read the bill that way. Mm-hmm. And so I'm wondering if I read the wrong bill.
Well, you raise a good question. Because I'm doing this quick, I'm going to have like a 20-minute gap or so because and I'm going to be right back on. I will get that information. I'll get you the exact bill because it's already passed. It's law now, but they actually have to incorporate language out of the Bible in the teachings. Out of the Bible, not the Quran or something, because you're mentioning all these other religions. It's coming straight from Christianity. So they may have not put that specifically in the language, but that's what's happening. If you're teaching out of the Bible and not the Quran, do you really need to say we're only promoting Christianity?
Well, no, I guess I do. I guess I'm not trying to be one of those people that's like, what's your sources? Let me make hold on, hang on a second.
Let me make it clear. Yeah. I don't have any issue with what you're saying. I favor free speech, and you are correct. I should have the exact House bill or source to provide. I should have had that. That's a fault on me. So no, you're asking a legitimate question. Keep going.
No, that's all I was asking because, I think that like here, I live rural Montana and we have I wish that they would they allow certain aspects. So like here, predominantly we're Christian. We don't have a huge community of anything other than Christianity. Right. However, I will say that there are some people that are atheists that very much have problems with no separation. And so like the bill that I saw that you were referring to, I think, but I don't know, it didn't specify Christianity, and schools were also able to opt out of it. But if they did allow it, or they did allow people to teach, then it was incentivized basically with $60 per child.
Think about that. Think about that. Your school, and I that's another thing I should have brought up because that is true. That came up as well. That if your school wants to opt out of this, you can. But if you opt in, we're going to give you $60 per child in your school. What school's going to turn that money down in the public arena? Most public schools are underfunded. They need the money. So you're going to pay the schools that are doing this. In the schools that are not, the punishment is you don't get any of the money. So obviously you're going to have a hell of a lot of schools doing this where they may not favor it just because they're getting $60 per kid. I mean, that really adds up.
Well, and so like to answer your question, like I am in favor personally of, I think that statistically we can show that as we have progressed in our education system, our numbers all show that we are getting dumber. And that's a fact. Like, I don't mean that insultingly, but I think that like, honestly, I do think that there is a place for all religions to be taught, because on the world stage, which we enter when we leave school, I think that it's very important to understand other religions, because a lot of decisions and a lot of conflicts are made off of religious beliefs. And I think knowing what someone believes, and I'm not saying teaching the Quran, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying having a basis of knowledge on different people's religions, I think is only beneficial to us as Americans to know that when we enter another space, this is the belief in which they hold. I think it will only empower us to know where someone's coming from. I'm not against it.
Didn't you say you were in Montana?
Yeah.
You really think if you graduated from high school in Montana and got a job working in Billings somewhere, you need to know about Islam and all that other stuff in the area where you just admitted where just about everybody's Christian? You really think you need to learn those other religions?
Well, to be fair, we have a nonprofit in the West Bank where we deliver wheelchairs to children.
Israel, Gaza.
In the West Bank. So it's called Wheelchair Angels. And yes, so like it would have been helpful. It would have been helpful as when I was younger to know, because even I don't think people realize that Gaza is both Christian and Muslim. Like there is a huge.
What does that got to do with a citizen growing up in Montana? The point I'm saying is this: if you get an education in Montana, become an adult, and get a job in Montana, you don't really need to know all these other religions. The whole area is Christian. It's not going to interfere with you getting a job because you went to school and you didn't learn anything about the Quran or Buddha. You would have no problem functioning and living the American dream.
Why? I guess my question to you would be, why would it hurt to know why people believe that they believe? Like, what part of that would be hurtful for you to learn that? Like, if you know that on the world stage that people operate on the basis of religion and morals being a high point of making decisions, how would learning about basic knowledge, I'm not talking about, like I said, I'm not talking about diving in and teaching scripture. There's Bible studies for that. But on the world stage, what would be hurtful to have a basic working knowledge of other religions and all religions? Like, how would that not be beneficial, say, in world studies? I mean, we do kind of learn about it in history class. I mean, a lot of wars were fought on the basis of religion. I mean, all you have to do is go back to the UK and see that, the War of the Roses was all religious based. So we do kind of cover these things in history classes. I just don't understand what the problem would be.
So how does this protect? So if you're an LGBT student in that class, do you ignore what the Bible says about members of the LGBT community?
Well, that's what I'm saying is we're not teaching actual scripture. We're talking a working basis. And I think actually it would be beneficial for people to know. I mean, I think it would be beneficial for somebody to know that's from the LGBT community, that especially in some place like with the Islamic religion, maybe that's not a place that you want to go or travel to if this is what they believe in, if this is their laws. Maybe
exactly. That's the point I'm making, is that religion would forcing children to learn about religion will cause folks to probably not want to be religious, because a lot of the negativity in Christianity will come up. You know where it'll come from? Parents who are atheists or of a different religion telling their kids, I don't give a damn what they teach you in school, this is what that religion is about. And then they're going to go to school and tell their friends. Before you know it, they're arguing in school about your religion is bad or my religion is better. It just creates drama where they don't need to be.
Well, so our school did teach it, and there was no drama.
Because everybody's Christian. In your school, everybody was, it works in an environment.
No, they taught all, you misunderstood. They taught all religion. Like there was a basis class of all religion.
Yeah, but they're teaching all religion to a class that's all Christian. You don't actually have Muslims in the classroom with Jehovah's Witnesses there. If you got people from all these other religions there, some of them are probably going to say some of the teachings are wrong.
Well, and I mean, that's the freedom of speech, right? Freedom of belief, freedom of everything. And I don't see a problem with providing more knowledge for people. I think that I've never saw a problem in learning new things or coming from a place of understanding with people. And that was the only premise that I was coming up to say, is that I see no issue with just because you teach me something, like just because you teach me that there's schmurder doesn't mean I'm going to become a schmurderer. I mean, I think that the only thing that we can garner from that is knowledge is power. And I strongly believe that. So I don't see any problem with it. And I really didn't see anything in the bill that was specific to Christianity. And so that's what I wasn't coming
Someone in the comments, let me tell you this. In regards to you asking what the bill was, somebody put in the comments, it was House Bill 1287. I haven't looked it up, but somebody typed that in the comments, and somebody else stated it does say Christianity. I don't know. I'll have to look it up, because you asked a question and I should be able to provide an answer to. But House Bill 1287.
I appreciate that. I just didn't know what it was, and no one had seemed to answer. So I was just coming up because, like I said, I just didn't see where it specifically was saying Christianity beyond the 10 Commandments. Like, I did see that there was the 10 Commandments requested.
Does it say Bible? Does it say Bible?
It said, no, it just said all religious is what I saw. I didn't see Bible and specifically, but that's, like I said, I was reading through a lot of different bills because I was interested, because, when one state does something, it can impact the rest of the states. And so I I was
Yeah,
curious
Texas.
about that. That's all.
Okay, fair enough. I'll look into it, and I implore you also to look into it in terms of it, because if it says Bible and it doesn't say Quran, then it's pretty clear what the aim is. It doesn't have to say Christianity. There are ways to say Christianity without saying Christianity. For instance, if the language says God, but it doesn't say Allah, I mean, or if it says anything about Jesus, I mean, there are ways to say Christianity without calling it out.
Agree. I agree. And like I said, I didn't see any reference. I did see that the one I did see was it was not required. I mean, that if they did do it, they got incentivized, which is obviously,
Okay.
something that some schools will take up and do. But that's all that I was curious about is I couldn't find when I was looking, and I kept looking and looking, and I could not find the proposed
Okay,
bill.
I'll look into it more to have a more straight answer to it. If I was in my makeshift studio, I would be able to do that. But
yeah, no worries. Thank you so much. I'll drop and let someone else up.
all right, thank you. All right, moving on with the program. She asked a legitimate question. I didn't, I'm finishing up my damn day job, so I haven't done all of that, and I should have. She caught me slipping. Looking in the comments, she knows what damn religion they talking about. Be so for real, says Karina. I'm not gonna say she knows damn well, but I do. I know a blood red state like Texas is not going to give equal time to the teachings of the Quran as they are the Bible. There's no way in hell I personally believe states like Texas and Oklahoma are doing this from a fair play standpoint of other religions. These are hardcore Christian states. They're going to do what's in the best interest of their religion. Let me go back to the box. I do want to bring somebody up that is stating they are from the Lone Star State. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Now you're from. Hold on, before you talk there, I do want to respond to a couple super chats. Will G rather. I don't know how the hell I could get your name. Trump isn't a Republican or a Democrat. He wants to be a monarch. All right. Now, people are saying otherwise, though, but the pieces are in place, in my opinion, if he wanted to do that. It's clear that Trump will use everyone to get kingship. You don't have to use them. They're lining up. They love the guy. And thank you for becoming a friend of the program, Tim Odom. Thank you. You, sir, you need coffee. I'm always. You're from Texas. You're on the ground there. What are you hearing?
Yes, sir. So we heard some yesterday actually, I have an email newsletter type for the TEA. The actual bill, the one that I sent you, I posted it in there. I think it's 8057. I can't remember exactly. I put it in there. You got approved on Monday, and they're going to reconvene again on Friday for the actual, whether it's going to pass or not. But it more than likely will. So basically, this bill has been put in since like probably a year ago. The one that the lady was talking about the 10 Commandments, that one is supposed to come up in June.
Okay. So the 10 Commandments bill is just requiring a display of the 10 Commandments, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked about, because Louisiana has that as law too, where you got to prominently display. But in regards to this teachings coming out of the Bible, what are you hearing about that?
Well, it's gonna be used. The Bible is gonna be used as an actual historical
document.
Used for history, and it'll be used for besides like a Bible study in the school, and the teachers will be able to use their own interpretation for it. So that's a very risky, and we have talked before. I've been deployed to Iraq 3 times, and my biggest issue is that going to these countries, and we saw like back in the 70s and the 60s, Iraq was thriving until religion started going into politics. So this is women's rights. They took their women's rights. The Bible speaks about women's rights, and other groups that are going to be marginalized. So this is a very scary thing. Me personally, I'm gonna take my kid. This is gonna be their last year of public school. They're gonna be coming into homeschool, but my taxes are paying for school. I shouldn't be have to be doing this.
Yeah.
Separation of church and state should be protected. For some reason, it's not working out.
Well, I mean, this is what we voted for. I mean, we knew
Yeah.
that the government.
I personally didn't vote for that, but yeah,
I mean, the country as a whole, and
Right.
I've said this before on the program several times that there are three tenets of far right governments, and one being that far right governments tend to be very religious. Number
Right.
two, they tend to have a lane for women. They marginalize women, and number three being
Yes.
minority communities are treated differently from the majority.
I mean,
whatever the minority is, like you mentioned, Iraq, Afghanistan, those countries in the Middle East are
Yes.
many of them are far right, and they do all of this stuff. Free countries rarely force religion on the people.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the news in Iraq right now. They can marry a 9-year-old little girls, and it's gonna be allowed in over there.
I don't think we're going to get
So,
that far. You don't think that's a fear or concern here?
well, this is how it starts.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like Kentucky or whatever had like they wanted to pass a bill that the allowed age was like what 12 or 13 or something like that.
Wow.
I think here in Kentucky, I believe. I mean, children's rights, they can work now in several states here
Yeah.
in the state of here in the United States. So, I mean, I don't know how people are not opening their eyes. I have seen this firsthand in Iraq. We help men, women, and children over there. They have to walk 3 steps behind them.
Damn.
I seen and this is horrible. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to bring it up, but maybe this would open up people's eyes. We saw, and it still like brings me up with like my heart is pounding right now. So, I saw a 10-year-old little girl being stoned by her family because she left her 50-year-old husband, and she was
10?
stoned.
10?
10 years old. Yes, we couldn't do nothing because we couldn't actually interfere with
Right.
religion and stuff like that. But I still think about it, and my heart is racing right now. These things are happening.
And I think the thing about it is a lot of times people dispel it or say there's no way this could happen until it's right up on them. That's why I brought up the abortion laws that were being implemented from the 1800s. And I tell people all the time, 10 years from now, you would have said that was fear mongering. There's no way they're ever going to do that. And then when it happened, it's like, well, shit. So folks need to realize there's probably more on the table than people think. Don't just assume things can't happen. Because now we're talking about religion in schools. 10 years from now, 10 years ago, if you had said, if you elect Trump, they're going to be forcing kids to learn about, no, you're just a liberal, you're fear-mongering. This stuff, it is slowly starting to happen in some of these areas.
Yes. So I mean, this could happen within a year. I mean, we're already seeing the movement of like men want to have like traditional wives. They don't want them to work. Everything can start moving really quick, and people don't see it. I went to Iraq 3 times. I have done more than any other man. I fought next to men, and now my rights are taken away. Not only my rights, but all the women's rights. And this
you raise a good point, because Trump just appointed, I forgot who he appointed, but the guy is talking about women shouldn't serve in combat. Now, a lot of folks on the right, my beloved MAGA, they agree with that. But when we talk about women losing rights, I have to ask this question. If you don't believe women should be allowed to serve in combat, think of the reasons why you would say that, and tell me how they don't apply to women serving as a police officer, women serving as a firefighter. Most of the same reasons that you may think a woman shouldn't serve in combat would apply in those areas. So she could start losing career choices.
Yes, 100%. I mean, and also, people need to grab a book and actually read it. If we go on history, how the mustache man started and got in power, he ran 3 times before he got elected. I mean, he got actually in power. He said all this rhetoric. I mean, come on now. I mean, I'm losing my rights, and I fought next to men. I was in firefights next to men. I'm 100% disabled. I was in an IED explosion. Come on.
Yeah.
You can, like, if you see me, I can show you my wounds that I have.
No, I don't have any reason not to believe you, but yeah, I mean, I do agree with that because folks are adamant that women are not losing any rights, but yeah, there are some women that
military service different. I just saw a comment. How is combat and military service different?
Well, you could be behind a desk. They could give you a secretary job. I mean, I guess they said they could downgrade what your participation is.
Well, yeah, they can. But I know what I have done.
Right.
And I know how I served. And people that have known me, you obviously don't know me, but people that have known me, they know what we have done together. So, it's just so much pride that I had, and I fought for my country, regardless of whether it was a lie or whatever. I fought for my country. I did things that many of these people have never had an idea of doing. And here we are. They're taking my rights away. They're taking my daughter's rights away. Yeah, and if they don't see it, it's bananas.
Yeah, because they won't have that option likely in the future. I got to move it on, unfortunately, because I got to do an abbreviated live. I got a little gap here, but thank you.
Can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
We also go into research. It's proven that religion gives an open door to child abuse. How many pastors have done?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah, that's real bad. Yeah. The pedophilia pedophilia and religion. Yeah, pedophilia and religion goes way back.
It's power.
Yeah.
So how if it didn't work in their church, what makes them think it's gonna work in school?
All right. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. And thank you for your service, as I always say. Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. All right, moving on with the program. I want to respond to a comment real quick. Stacy's mom, aka Stacy's mom. Good to see you in the comment section. She says abortion went back to the state. Just stop it. Will never be federally banned. 2 points I want to make. First of all, this whole thing about they didn't ban it, it just went back to the states. Here's my opinion. Before anything goes back to the states, the people in that state should have a right to vote on it. If you pass a law in this state and the people had no say-so, I don't see where that's something to champion and brag about. And I bring this up on every live. Every single state in America that has a ban or limitation on abortion came by way of the people having no say-so in it. Every state that the people were allowed to vote on it voted in favor of it. So if it's banned or limited in your state, it's likely because you didn't have any say-so on it. Florida is the only exception where they had a right to vote on it, and it still was banned or still limited because 54% of Floridians voted in favor of a woman having access to it, but they required it be 60%. Why the hell would the simple majority not be enough? Why do they have to have a margin of 60% to make it legal? So in Florida, there are still some bans. That's the first thing. Now, in regards to whether the abortion bans will become federal or not, Trump has already stated he will never sign a federal abortion ban. I've talked about this earlier in the live stream. I think you can get a federal ban without Trump signing a damn thing. I've said before, it's already been adjudicated that if you take the life of the unborn, let's say in the commission of a crime, you can be charged with murder. So they already are treating the unborn like it's a life. If a criminal takes the life of a unborn, they can be charged with a second count of murder. Why is a doctor allowed to do it if it's unnecessary and not face the same punishment? I do believe with the current far-right Supreme Court, the way it is, you could make that argument before them and win. That, okay, in Tennessee and many other states, if you are committing a crime and you take the life of the unborn, it's a secondary charge of murder. Why should a doctor be able to do it optionally and not face the same murder charge? I don't see where a Supreme Court that's a 6-3 majority, the one we have now, would not agree with that. Once you deem it as murder, then it doesn't matter if you're in a left-wing, right-wing state or not. The Supreme Court has already said if you're not trying to save the life of the mother or do something that's really absolutely necessary, taking any life of the unborn is murder. And I think that you would easily be able to get that court to agree, and thereby you have your federal ban. You don't need to do it through Trump. You don't need to do it through states' rights. Use the Supreme Court and challenge them on the laws that are already on the books that make it murder to take the life of the unborn that are already in existence. I think that's all you got to do to get that through with the current Supreme Court. And by the way, Trump's going to appoint 2 more likely to replace Alito and Thomas, and they're probably going to be equally as far to the right as Thomas is. So you don't need Trump's signature. There's a backdoor way to do it. It's no one's business but the woman that's expecting. Good luck with that. We voted against a woman having the only say-so in that. Real quick, there it is, says Charles Vaughn. Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to get that federal ban. Will G says, I don't want to hear that. He's not going to do this out. Wait a minute. I don't want to hear that. He's not going to do this out that bullshit. Everything Trump said he wasn't going to do, he did. So I don't think Trump's going to have to sign a federal ban, but you're saying that it's bullshit to claim that Trump said he ain't going to do something because he promises that he ain't going to do stuff, and he does it anyway. I'll leave it at that. And I think every politician knows to some degree lies here or there. I'm not saying it's equal or whatever, but I think they all can do it. These topics is why the Democrats lost, says Raptor. I don't know. Religion in schools, here's what I don't get. You can force religion in schools and basically shoving religion down the throats of children, but that doesn't cause you to lose, but shoving LGBT, CRT, DEI, all that stuff does, huh? I don't know if I totally buy that. Let me go back to the box, though. I don't know if that alone makes sense to me. But maybe it does to you. Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the program. I thought you had been on a while. Where are the likes? I haven't asked for any of them. Tap the screen. Get your boy likes up. I didn't ask for any of those, Paul. Get me up to about 30,000. I'm going to have to take a break in a moment, though. Dencal.
Hey.
Have you heard about this law in Texas?
Just briefly. I haven't looked into it or anything. I mean, at this point, like, nothing is surprising me.
What do you think of it, though?
I think it goes to what the narrative has been. Like, they want to shove religion down people's throats.
Yeah. So why do you think there's no outcry on this, though? I mean, we heard this on the LGBT, we heard this on DEI and CRT in schools, LGBT issues. We don't want all this being shoved down our child's throats. But suddenly with religion, they're quiet.
Well, I mean, really, most of us are quiet about all this stuff because we bought into this narrative that they said that he's got a mandate. We all voted for this. And that's not true. Yes, he did win. He did edge him out in the Senate, and it's very close in the House. But these are not large mandate margins. These are small margins. And as they did the count, his lead in the popular vote has dwindled down to I want to say around 2 million now. So there's not this big mandate that people are saying. But we brought into this narrative that now that the people have spoken, that we should just all capitulate and just let everything kind of happen. And it's just not my opinion.
Well, I don't know. When you say he didn't win by this huge mandate, he did win by a lot.
Yeah. Well, I guess we could ask the question: what creates a mandate? What makes a mandate? If you win by 1 electoral vote, or if you win by 20, what makes?
Oh, okay, I get your point. Yeah, I'm not in the mandate camp, but I will say this: it's pretty clear that a lot of voters were pissed off with the Democratic Party, though.
Right, but it wasn't because we wanted. It wasn't because we wanted. We wanted Christianity in the schools.
No,
like we took some of these peripheral issues, and we're kind of lumping it in, saying, "Well, that's what everybody voted for." Well, no, they voted because they didn't like the inflation, or or it was hard.
I think the notion is they didn't feel like the Democrats were promoting the issues that people were actually concerned with. I mean, how many folks in this country are LGBT, and then the Democrats are up there defending that, and folks are like, "You're defending something that's unpopular." And I have a different opinion on it, but a lot of folks do believe that the Democratic Party was running on issues that had nothing to do with making the country better.
Well, I think that's true to a certain extent. I think the Democratic Party, or at least from my perspective, it was considered the Big Tent. So we were championing everybody's cause, and that happened to be one of them. And they, on the other side, they zeroed in on it. And they said, "Look, this is what you're supporting. You're supporting." And look, I don't know nobody that was supporting, like, having sex changes in prisons and stuff like that. Like that wasn't a thing. But they tacked that on us, and our refusal to to vanish different groups of people from the party, we kind of took on that mantle. Obviously, it wasn't a good idea. But that's what the Democratic Party is. Everybody they see as a marginalized group of people, they say, "Hey."
So what changes? Clearly, what they ran on this time failed miserably. So what changes are they going to make? Are they going to show up in 2028 with this same big tent agenda?
No, I don't think so. I think the Trump agenda will collapse under its own weight. I think come the midterms, I foresee a big swing, in the Senate and the House. I don't know what the numbers are, how many people are up for their seats are up and everything, but I foresee that. Look, America is not meant to just drastically change all at one time. You gotta pick your points and you gotta pick them in small.
But that's what they were accusing the Democratic Party of doing, is trying to drastically change America all at once. That's what they're accusing the Democrats of doing.
Right, but at the same time, their slogan is "Make America Great Again." Like, I mean, you can't change all of the the systems in place in progress in the country, and then say you're trying to make it like. And we go through this all the time, and I've used this in many conversations with my regulating friends or whatever. Like, nobody I have ever spoken to can answer that question. What are we trying to get back to? And if we're trying to get back to something that says that we can just put anybody in leadership positions in charge of our country, people with no knowledge of the administrations they get ready to take over, like criminal records and history, like this ain't taking us back to nothing.
Well, they're trying to get us back to a more traditional America. But then, unfortunately, I got to step away for a minute, so I'm gonna have to, because I got to step away for about 20 minutes. But come back through. I'll just say that I do got to step away.
I got one thing I want to talk to you about, Elon Musk. But yeah, go ahead and do your thing, man.
All right, I appreciate it. So, folks, I'm gonna discontinue this for about 20 minutes. I will be back. Real quick on YouTube, Will G, I did want to address your super chat. You said the Democrats were not loud enough. In some cases, did not say anything. Republicans were lying and bullshitting on Dems as well. Some of that, yeah, the whole Kamala Harris is a communist. I mean, because, the Republicans were very loud about the notion that Trump was not a racist or Trump is not Hitler and all of that. But they were able to deem Kamala Harris as a communist and, bringing up her sexual history. I agree with you. The Democrats certainly had that. They lost that battle. They did lose that battle. 20 minutes, folks. I will be back. What? I can't too much jump.